Wishing to address the board, please do so. Okay. No one wishing to address the board. We'll approve the minutes. We'll meet the previous meeting, regular meeting of January 6, 2014.
Motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of January 6, 2014.
Any discussion? No discussion, vote whether you use a sign of aye.
Aye.
Bill, everybody's got a copy of the bills. Any motion to pay the bills?
We have one addition this evening. It's the amount of $102,982.34. That's the New York Power Authority bill.
What's that for?
New York Power Authority?
Yeah, probably for it.
Yes.
Okay.
Motion to pay the bills as amended.
Second.
Any discussion? No discussion, vote whether you use a sign of aye.
Aye.
Okay. Correspondence.
First item I have is a letter that came in from Dodge Memorial Library. In order to keep the library running smoothly, continue with programming and grant writing, the addition of personnel is greatly needed. As you are aware, the Rouses Point Dodge Memorial Library has one full-time library director, one part-time as-needed library page, and 3 substitute library pages. The library pages are utilized to fill in hours for evenings, Saturdays, leave taken by the library director, and meetings, trainings that the library director attends. Over the past several months, it has become increasingly difficult to schedule library pages to work these needed hours or find availability at a moment's notice. The part-time page is employed as a teacher, and the substitute page is available for limited hours, and 2 substitute pages are retired and travel extensively. The Rouses Point Dodge Memorial Library Board of Trustees is recommending that Miranda Menard and Judy Bergeron be hired as substitute library pages on an as-needed basis. Miranda, of course, is a college student from Rouses Point, will primarily utilized during the summer months and college breaks. And Judy is currently a library volunteer, also a resident of the village, who will be utilized as an as-needed basis. And this is from Andy Ewart. And there is no additional money required, it's just having the additional staff available. So, the board wants to approve whatever.
Make a motion to have the 2 substitutes hired.
Okay.
Second.
Any discussion? No discussion? Vote whether you use a sign of aye.
Aye.
Okay.
The second item I have is a letter to the Board of Trustees. I regret to inform you that I will no longer be a lineman for the village. I have accepted a position as the head electrician of the Altona Correctional Facility. I sincerely thank the board, co-workers, and all the residents for 9 great years. I am grateful for the knowledge, care, friendships, and memories I obtained while employed. I will miss the entire facility wholeheartedly, but as one journey ends, another begins. I have been instilled with the courage and confidence to embark on this career without fear, through the trials and tribulations brought upon by the experiences I have encountered working for the village. I will forever cherish the moments here and will continue to reside in the village. To show my gratitude and care for the village, I am willing to be available to relay some of the knowledge and intricacies of our electrical system during times of need. Along with other communities' activities, I will remain a volunteer firefighter to try to repay my debt to the great people of the village. My final day will be February 5th, and this is from Eric Miller.
Make a motion to accept his resignation with regrets.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes, I think that he's going to be well missed, and I propose that the village send him a thank you letter, maybe a little plaque or something.
Yep.
9 years.
Yep.
He's a hard worker. He's going to be missed.
Yep.
I think we should send him
I'll second that.
thank him for his service.
Yep.
Sounds
Wish
good to me.
him luck. Wish him well.
Sounds good to me.
Good.
Okay, who's getting second there?
Right.
No discussion, vote whether you use a sign of
Aye.
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 Okay, the last item I have addressed to Mayor Baker and the trustees. The 4th of July committee has begun making plans for this year's celebration. The celebration will start on Friday, July 4th, probably at noon, and run through Sunday, which is going to be July 6th, evening concluding with fireworks. The committee is asking for permission to have a beer garden, which will be run by the North Country Golf Club, a legal business, and who ran the garden last year. The golf club will be responsible for their off-premise license, insurance, double fencing, checking IDs and all signage and anything else that will ensure that the alcoholic beverage they sell will be handled in the best way possible. Other events include the car show, a 5K run, barbecue, kids' day, vendors, and rides for the kids. We hope to include a parade in the events, but currently do not have enough volunteers to support the effort. Please let everyone know that we would love volunteers to help us with the efforts, and they can contact me through Carol Hanfield. Please let me know as soon as possible so that we can proceed with our plans for the weekend. This is from Becky Reed. So they'd like permission to hold the beer tent.
Make a motion to allow the 4th of July committee to have the golf club sponsor a beer garden.
Second.
Discussion? Discussion, both ladies decided on.
Aye.
That's all I have.
Okay, under Works and Beer Trustees, Mayor Chris, J. Baker, resolution, election registration day.
Let me read it, or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, notice is hereby given that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Rouses Point, Clinton County, New York, has on the 21st day of January 2014 will pass a resolution setting forth the voter registration day for the 2014 village election. A copy of the complete resolution is as follows. Whereas the next general election, village election for officers will be held on the 18th of March 2014. And whereas no person shall be entitled to vote at any village election whose name does not appear in the register of the election district in which he or she claims to be entitled to vote. And whereas it is the duty of the inspectors of election to prepare such register of qualified voters for the district for which they are appointed. And whereas the village officials have chosen to hold a registration day for the general village election. Now therefore be it resolved that the inspectors of election shall meet upstairs at the village complex at 139 Lake Street on the 4th day of February 2013, beginning at 8:30 a.m. and ending at 4 o'clock p.m. to commence the preparation of the register for the forthcoming village election. Registration for the village shall be held on Saturday, the 8th of March 2014. Such registration shall be held at the village office at 139 Lake Street, Rouses Point, New York, from 12 o'clock noon until 5 o'clock p.m. Voting for the forthcoming village election shall be conducted at Halsted Hall, Rouses Point Civic Center, 39 Lake Street, Rouses Point, New York. The polls will be open from the hours of 12 o'clock noon until 9 o'clock p.m. At least 10 days prior to the registration day set in this resolution, a copy of such resolution shall be published in the official newspaper, and a copy be posted at least one conspicuous public place in each election district. This resolution shall take effect immediately, and the question of the foregoing duly put to a roll call vote, which resulted as follows. Need a motion, second.
Make a motion to accept the resolution.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Aye.
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 Mayor votes aye. Okay, resolution, election inspectors.
Want me to do that one?
Okay,
Okay. Whereas pursuant to Article 15, Section 116 of the 1979 State of New York election law, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Rouses Point is charged with adopting a resolution appointing the inspectors of election, appointing a chairperson thereof, and affixing their compensation. Therefore, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Rouses Point does hereby resolve that the inspectors of election shall be Mary Rasco as the chief inspector, Nancy Baker, Maurice Sterling, and an alternate will be Pat Racine. The chairperson shall be Mary Rasco. The compensation shall be fixed at $11.51 per hour for the election chairperson and $10.84 per hour for the inspectors. And this resolution shall take effect immediately. The question of the foregoing duly put to a roll call vote, which will result as.
Make a motion to accept the resolution.
Second.
call vote.
Aye.
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 Mayor votes aye. Okay, resolution, electrical capital equipment purchase.
That's our sense.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Whereas the Village of Rouses Point established a capital reserve type fund to help finance the cost of acquisition of a utility truck for the electric department pursuant to Section 6C, 6G of the General Municipal Law as amended. Whereas the Board of Trustees is of the opinion that 2013 Chevrolet Silverado 3/4 ton truck should be purchased for the sum of no more than $25,591.50. The cost of this purchase will be financed from the electric utility truck reserve, $19,591.50, and $6,000 from the current electric fund appropriations. Whereas the useful life of said vehicle pursuant to section 11 subdivision 23 of the local finance law is 5 years, and whereas section 6C8 of the general municipal law requires an expenditure from a capital reserve type fund be subject to permissive referendum. Now therefore be resolved that the village will or has purchased a 2013 Chevrolet Silverado 3-ton truck. This expenditure is subject to permissive referendum. This resolution shall not take effective until at least 45 days after its adoption, nor until approved by the affirmative vote of the majority of the qualified electors of the local government voting on the proposition for its approval if within 45 days after its adoption there be filed with the clerk petition protesting against such local law signed and authenticated as required by qualified electors of such local government. Register vote therein at the last preceding general election in number equal to at least 10% of the total number of votes cast for governor at the last gubernatorial election for such government. This resolution was put to a duly called vote. Result as follows.
Motion to accept the resolution?
Second.
Call vote.
Aye.
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 Mayor votes aye. Okay, discussion. NICOM Winter Legislative Meeting, February 9th and 10th, 2014 at all. One meeting we let people last year, right? That's up. Anybody wishing to go?
It's an opening.
Yep. I'm going. Yeah.
It's the 9th and the 10th.
Yep.
What date is it?
Oh, I don't know. What's your looking at right now?
On Sundays, it's still.
Yeah, it's a Sunday and Monday.
Sunday to Monday.
Yeah.
Sunday to Monday.
Yeah, you gotta go down, because they got a meeting Sunday night, you gotta be there before 5 o'clock, because they have a meeting. We usually leave around noon.
I'll go with you.
Anybody else want to? Oh, is it Monday? All right.
Not gonna be able to make it this year. Make a motion to allow 2 people to go to the NICOM's winter legislation meeting?
Second that.
Any other discussion? No discussion, before you use the sign of aye?
Aye.
Aye.
One more thing I got, request an executive session to discuss personnel issues.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Aye.
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 Mayor votes aye. That's all I have, President. Trustee Martin.
The only thing I have tonight, Mr. Mayor, thank you, is to request an executive session to discuss electric personnel.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Mayor votes aye.
That's it, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Trustee William Muscat.
I have nothing, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Okay. Trustee Moore.
Yes, I have one thing. I'd like to let 6 people, some from the water plant, some from Public Works, attend a training on water and wastewater training session laboratory in Plattsburgh on March 6th from 7:30 to 3:30 at a total cost of $540 for registration and meals. And we can make that into a motion.
Second?
Any other discussions? No discussion, vote by use the sign of aye.
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 That's it.
Huh?
That's all I got.
No, that's okay, I'm sorry. Joe Treadwell, Mr. Treadwell.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I got request executive session to discuss administrative personnel.
Second.
Roll call.
Aye.
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 Mayor votes aye.
Okay, the other thing I got is to authorize the code enforcement officer to attend training in Lake George. And we all have the paperwork on that right here.
Yep.
You guys all have a copy of that, so.
Second that.
Any discussions? No discussion, vote by use the sign of aye.
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 And an update on the storm sewer issue, which is, yeah, I'm thinking who they are. Drews. Is piping that, their drainage into the sewer,
Yep.
and into the drain system over there. They were, from what their engineer said, the paperwork that I got, they thought that was a 36-inch line drain into the lake. However, it's only 24-inch line. I just want the public to know that it's been sent to our engineer, and he's working on that. And he'll make an assessment and figure out what we're gonna do, if we're gonna be allowed to look into that drain system.
Yep.
Or if it's gonna be too much of that 24-inch pipe, and then they'll have to come up with another plan. Either dig it up, put their own 36-inch pipe down through, or whatever the engineer decides to do. So they are working on that, so if there's any residents that are concerned about that, they are working on that.
Yep.
To try to figure out what to do with that situation. One more thing, to request executive session to discuss a code issue.
Second.
Okay. Oh,
Aye.
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 And that's all I have this evening, Mr. Mayor.
okay. Any other reports?
I just want to report that the auditors were here all last week for the single audit, and that they were going to be corresponding back and forth for the next couple of weeks and for more information. And right now, I'm looking on the spreadsheets for the Pratt Street grant reimbursement for the railroad station.
Mhm. Good.
Just like
Nothing else? Okay. Open the meeting to the public. Anybody wishing to address the board, go ahead.
Railroad station. All the mop boards are all done, just waiting to be cut and put on the wall. And the ones that have to be painted are all painted, something like that.
Good, man.
We got a meeting, got our board together, we got a meeting tomorrow night, 6 o'clock,
Excellent. Where's that then?
at the railroad station.
At the station?
So I borrowed some chairs and a table,
Okay.
and we'll have it up there.
That's good.
And do you need anybody from the board to attend the meeting also, or is it just for you?
We have, I think we got, I don't think it's an issue myself, I mean, just the thing to get going.
Mm-hmm.
We got 2 people from the Historical Society.
Did you? Okay, good.
That's on the village, that's on the board.
Yeah,
But I got 8 people.
that's fine.
8 people want to get on the board.
That's fine.
But I said, well, but anyhow, there's a conflict of interest. Some people say, I don't know, because of the people that's on the Historical Society.
I don't think so, Ben. I think it's, the two combined, you can make a good board, I think.
I think he's right. I mean, you gotta have people that have the interest in what's happening up there, and those that are on historic society, I think, obviously has interest, so it isn't like they're outnumbering the board 6-2.
Well, that's what I'm saying, you know, and stuff.
So
I
it's
don't know.
actually 6-2 against, I'm not saying against them, but it's not like, you know, they fill the board full of, you know, their side, I don't know how to say that.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't have a problem with it. 2 people from there sitting on that board. If you feel comfortable, you're the chairperson of that board?
No, Becky is.
Becky's the chairperson of that board.
Rebecca is.
Becky's the chairperson.
Okay.
I think she'll be all right with that.
Yeah.
As long as,
Yeah, she said she is.
sure. I want-
That's fine.
I know.
That's excellent.
Like I said, just to get things off the start here and stuff like that, and
Right.
somebody might want to say, well, I don't want to be on it, or whatever, I don't know.
You wanna-
It's hard to say, but I'd like to get things moving, you know, and stuff like that, and if we can get the mop boards down, I can put a coat on the floor, they can get in there,
Start whatever they want.
start whatever they want to do and stuff like that, hang curtains or
Start that
whatever.
Friday, Benny.
Okay,
Bring my son and everything on Friday.
okay.
You wanna work on it Friday? Next. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank all yous. Okay,
And Scott Blow is working on the doors. He's got the door frames like all cut and everything like that, or the door jambs all ready to make and put together. And I guess that's about it, yeah. Just gotta get a couple volunteers to help me. I wanna do all the windows inside and out and stuff like that.
the washer, I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, wait till I get the mop boards on.
Oh, yeah, yeah, cause I gotta do the floor after and stuff
Yeah.
like that and everything and stuff, so. Yeah, it's to wipe down the things after and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Excellent. Excellent, thanks, man.
yeah.
Okay, anybody else wishing to address the board?
Make a motion for a short recess.
Second?
Aye.
Aye and aye. Quick.
Take all that free, you can all put it in your pocket, bring it home.
No, we'll have to use, we'll have to get a.
Training up there and